we can ask questions about this function. We might want to know where is it increasing, when is it decreasing, what relative mins and maxes exist for it. And we can answer those questions using what's called the first derivative test. So the derivative of this function is equal to 3x squared minus 6x minus 9. And if we were to factor this, we would find that this factors into 3 times x minus 3 times x plus 1, which means that the function, the derivative, has two zeros, or two places where the derivative equals 0. The derivative equals 0 when x equals 3, and it equals 0 when x equals negative 1. We know for a fact the derivative equals 0 there. We can use what's called sign analysis to get some more information, because if the derivative equals 0 at 3 and negative 1, then those things could be places where you have minimums and maximums, and it just depends on what's happening on either side. Now, using sign analysis, I can do some really simple, quick mental substitutions to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to want to know what's happening to the left of negative 1, and I'll look specifically at negative 2. I can look anywhere I want, but I'll look at negative 2. When I plug negative 2 into the derivative, I get 3 times negative 5 times negative 1, which results in a positive number. So I know that to the left of negative 1, I will always get a positive number. Between negative 1 and 3, I'm going to test 0. And when I plug 0 into the derivative, I get 3 times negative 3 times positive 1, which would be a negative number. So every value between negative 1 and 3 will be negative. When I test 4, using the same process, I end up with 3 times 1 times 5, which would be positive. I know multiple things about the original function now based on my sign analysis. I know that the function is increasing. Right? So f of x is increasing on the interval from negative infinity to negative 1. Why do I know that? Because the derivative is positive. I also know that it's increasing from 3 to infinity. What's my reason? Because the derivative is positive. I know the function is decreasing on the interval negative 1 to 3. What's my reason? Because the first derivative is negative on that interval. I also know that at x equals negative 1, I have a relative maximum. Now, how do I know that? I know that because the first derivative is positive before negative 1 and negative after negative 1, which means that the original function is increasing before negative 1 and decreasing after it. So this must be a relative minimum. I also know that x equals 3 is a relative minimum. Why do I know that? I know that because the function before 3 is negative and after 3 is positive. Right? That's the derivative, which means the original function is decreasing before 3 and then is increasing after it. So it must be a relative minimum. Right? So all of these are applications and the reasons why I know things based on the first derivative.